This video is intended to describe a light blade talisman named Insulation, which is a rather exotic variant of the tried and true transmutation platform. Joining me today be my whimsical stick figure chakra map, which I'll be utilizing quite a bunch to depict various chakra simulations with this entire closed loop device. And without further ado, I will discuss the primary blade banding. Starting off with this entire section of the primary blade band, like so, which grounds into this lateral band, goes up the side to this lateral band up here, as well as the apex band will be my focus as a preliminary. So the transmutation ratio consists of hematite and smoky quartz, seen right here, offset through this entire primary blade band, through this entire lateral band, this side band, this lateral band, as well as this side band right here, to be a quadrant of the transmutation ratio consistently for this entire blade band scaffolding thus far mentioned. Starting off with the smoky quartz to be a very effective purification agent by firmly grounding all excess energies through the root chakra into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing beneath the earth stars. In tandem with hematite, which is an iron-based mineral which provides much the same functional energy stimulation as smoky quartz to firmly ground and pull stray radial energies firmly through the root chakra into the earth stars, into the earth's meridian matrix for reprocessing. So the transmutation ratio is developed to highly encourage a rapid ground contact patch, which also serves as a etheric dialysis or energetic Teflon that discourages negative energy from sticking internally or externally, as basically, of course, serving as a way to give a very safe energetic bypass to disperse and ground all excess energy to the earth for reprocessing or transmutation of negativity into positivity. Hence the transmutation ratio. As well as it works very effectively to take all other excess crystalline frequencies, yet to be mentioned this entire construct, and firmly ground the excess energy into the earth for reprocessing. So that'd be the transmutation ratio mentioned thus far to these lateral bands. Up here, the apex band is a slight departure with black tourmalated quartz, which actually is black tourmaline side quartz structure, which works as a massive neutral accelerant of programmability for the energy, as well as having the bolts of black tourmaline giving a natural amplification of black tourmaline, which is another black ray crystal quite in vogue these days, for being quite famous for, once again, grounding all excess negativity into positivity by grounding through the earth for reprocessing. In tandem with, once again, hematite, the very apex band, to encourage a very firm grounding of all this excess energy for consistent reprocessing into the earth meridian matrix. So this apex band is a slight deviation of having the clear quartz being neutrally programmable with this entire frequency offset up here, with the hematite firmly grounding the energy once again to encourage the directional focus of this entire device to be firmly dispersing and grounding excess energy to the earth, which is very advantageous for the human avatar. So that would be, of course, the primary as well as the auxiliary blade band scaffolding mentioned thus far, as well as the apex band, which has been developed to vaguely resemble a figure 8 for perpetual recirculated energetic momentum, like a closed loop circuit. Starting off the apex of this light blade talisman, the very bottom is also red jasper, which is a very stabilizing root chakra stimulant in the mineral kingdom, which provides a very stable foundational scaffolding for the bottom of the chakra column right here, which encourages grounding and stability. Right here above that is a lovely big piece of seraphinite, which is a lovely green ray crystal named after the seraphim archangels, which works as a full light body stimulant, or basically a chakra column engagement for the entire light body, as well as it effectively works very powerfully to dismantle the patterns of dis-ease found as stagnancies throughout the entire auric field from bottom to top. So it has quite the dynamic utilization for crystalline vibrational effects of positivity or beneficence for the auric field. Hence its large placement here was of the essence for a very truly healing dynamic frequency device. Above that, would be Larimar, seen right here. Larimar is a fantastic 5th and 6th chakra stimulant of water and fire, paradoxically. And it makes for a very powerful oasis of calm generation for the auric field, which is another contingency for being a very soothing, insulating frequency from excess energy bombarding the system, causing dysregulation, is kind of the preface of this entire construct. And this is another supporting element for exactly that nature of extreme calming vibrations. Speaking of calming vibrations, the most powerful crystal I employ for anti-anxiety configurations would be purple lepidolite, which is actually a lithium-potassium-based crystal of the purple ray, which has an extremely soothing capacity to the entire energy body, as well as the emotional, physical bodies, to be very, very soothing and calming to a very highly stimulated nervous system for those who have high psychic sensitivity. It makes for a very fantastic anti-anxiety agent, seen right there. Hence, the large piece was of the essence to accomplish the goal of successful insulation. So this section right here, I will mention after I discuss this golden leather, seen mustard yellow, if you would, seen right here, which has a distinct purpose. So once, of course, this video is notarized and all these components are discussed, this leather will be installed in an aesthetic fashion, seen kind of like this with one hand as an example, for a distinct purpose far more than aesthetic. So the aspect of the color range of yellow is also a color therapy resonance for the entire vibration to give a nice solar plexus stimulation pitch frequency, as well as a way to, of course, insulate all of these stones seen right here yet to be mentioned for further energetic efficiency to contain this entire section, so the excess energy of this entire complicated termination of these guys seen right here has less energy leakage, so the effective energy is channeling further more efficiently through the primary blade band as well as the apex band. As well as a way to, of course, protect all these stones seen right here in this section, which of course has been designed to be wielded as a talisman worn on the person, so that'd be very encouraging to protect all these subtle stones as they're, God willing, performing their function. And of course, last but not least, it is a nice aesthetic completion to look like a more completed construct, but indeed is far more than aesthetic, like I mentioned. It indeed is a functional component for this device. Then at the very, actually I'll go ahead and discuss the hood section since I discussed this guy. Alrighty. This right here would be black tektite. Black tektite is actually the product of nickel and meteorite impacting sand, which carries an extraterrestrial jolt into creation. So when a meteorite impacts sand, it carries that impact from the stars, so it would also be considered a stone of heaven and earth. But luckily it's a black gray crystal, which is very effective for raising vibrations from the ground up to essentially encourage a strengthened higher vibrational field that'd be less subject to bombardment dysregulation for psychic sensitivity. A very, very effective crystal is utilized in virtually all platforms for exactly that purpose, of a tangible way to raise vibrations from a very comfortable foundational setting. Then right here would be Tibetan black quartz. Tibetan black quartz is actually utilized in a certain trinity I employ quite frequently of the seraphonite, the Tibetan black quartz, as well as the star argonite seen right here, because like mentioned previously with this large piece of seraphonite, works very effective as a full chakric stimulant or a full light body generator from bottom to top to engage the entire energy field and disperse stagnancies or habitual patterns of dis-ease that be found from basic misfirings of the chakra column's natural healed configuration. And of course, it comes from Tibet, a place in the world that has virtually unrivaled spiritual discipline that in modern recorded history. Then, like mentioned in one trinity discussion, the star argonite, a calcium-based full light body activator as well, that works very, like I mentioned thrice now, works very diligently to dismantle any patterns of dis-ease that be found stored in the chakra column manifesting as an illness of any kind, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychically, psychologically. All those aspects are covered by this particular trinity, hence their utilization is quite paramount and pretty regular at this point in this R&D. Then right here Next to the Tibetan black quartz will be another stone that's quite in vogue of black shungite. Shungite is a fantastic carbon-based black ray crystal that's quite in vogue these days for being very famous to mitigate EMF or non-natural, harmful energetic wavelengths we contend with as modern humans, as Wi-Fi, 5G, you name it. This crystal is very effective for, once again, like everything else mentioned quite prolifically at this point, to transmute negativity into positivity by working as a tremendous filtration to discharge and disperse energy of the earth for reprocessing. So once again, it discourages stagnant energies staying in the field, running amok, causing distortions, quite simply. Then, right here, like mentioned up here, is another larger dose of black tourmalated quartz, seen between these guys right here. Then, this right here would be moss green agate, seen right there. Moss green agate is a very fantastic stabilization of the heart chakra, which encourages very stabilized heart chakra configuration, which of course encourages the impeccable delivery of energetic and physical circulation through the entire system. Then right here, another dose of very soothing vibrations. Another lithium-based crystal, petalite, seen right there, is very effective for soothing the mental capacities of the 6th and 7th chakras, or basically a cleared mind that's very in alignment with their divine configuration. So it also serves as another tremendous, very soothing anti-anxiety frequency seen right here, to, of course, encourage the insulation of this entire device for the benefit of the wielder. And that would be the entire section that will eventually be hooded up. So God willing, once this video is over, these will never be seen again. Because it means, of course, the hood performed its function admirably. At the very apex of the core itself would be infinitite. Infinitite is a very special variety of serpentine that comes from South Africa that is very effective for raising vibrations through the entire energy body, or being also a kundalini stimulant to rapidly heal any patterns of, once again, common theme here with many of these crystals, patterns of disease that be impeding a natural healthy flow of the auric field. And the aspect of infinitite particularly has a very nice insulation effect to mitigate, once again, bombardment insulation that be interfering with one's natural healthy flow. Of course, I repeat myself in certain aspects because this entire design is very concentrated for exactly the goal of the archetypal designation of project insulation. So that'd be a nice little dose right there of that. And of course, I'll be discussing the wooden core seen right here. From my backyard here in Mount Shasta, the tip of my pen right here is an oak tree I visit quite regularly to acquire cores, and so that's where this oak core comes from. So of course, speaking pragmatically, the dense atomical grain of oak being a hard wood also has a very strengthening vibration to work as a core for this very insulating transmutation device. Hence its employment was, of course, worthy of notarization. Then, next to the wooden core, hewn to size, are two pieces of white selenite. White selenite is a very effective master healer in its own right, but is quite critical for the functionality of any given spirit tool for this distinct purpose. So white selenite is a very fantastic 6th, 7th, 8th non-physical chakra stimulant that works very quickly to dismantle or basically burn off the debris that be impeding one's conscious self with one's higher self guidance. And with that high frequency induction works to burn off stagnant energies from the entire auric field from top to bottom. So by itself, it's quite the amazing master healer frequency, but where it really shines this entire video thus far is upon this 14 minutes of discussing all of these components, it works to actually synergize them in this capacity to purify all of these crystals mentioned thus far, to amplify or intensify all these crystals thus far, and perhaps most importantly, bring harmonization equilibrium to the entire frequency pitch, which gives it license to be a very dynamic, effective device that's very adaptable to the requirements based on one's higher guidance. And to further encourage the rapid grounding of the in-the-body experience with this also would be the exclusive employment of black kyanite seen on both sides of this selenite. Black kyanite is the most effective rapid transfer of energy in the mineral kingdom, particularly in the black ray filter, to rapidly disperse energy very quickly. Hence my whimsically fast pen movements will do my best to illustrate the functionality of black kyanite as a rapid surge protector. So this entire frequency pitch with black kyanite, also kyanite directs the energy very rapidly through the auric field to intensify the contact patch beneath the feet, which of course grounds into the earth meridian matrix for etheric dialysis, consistent reprocessing of energy. So it gives the entirety of this rather exotic variant of the transmutation ratio a very rapid contact patch connection to the earth plane for reprocessing to be the primary focus of the transferability of this energy. So that would be it in about 15 and a half minutes. And so as a summary, this device has been developed to be a rather exotic rendition of the tried and true simplistic transmutation talisman with much more of a healing, soothing baseline, with more exotic crystals than normal for distinct purposes of being a very dynamic, competitive, healing, as well as soothing device to insulate one's field from the temporal bombardments we face as humans, quite simply. So that'd be it. And of course, like mentioned, this is developed to be a talisman to be worn on the person so that, of course, it can be a passive diffuser to discourage negativity internally or externally saturating the field and storing in the field, having stagnant manifestations occur as different varieties of unpleasant diseases in all their varieties. Well, 1,000 blessings, and may the force be with us all.